We'll have the latest on what areas will be impacted.
Today, the world population now stands at 8 billion people. The rapid population growth driven by the world's poorest countries. Why experts say we will see more global challenges ahead.
Former President Trump announcing his 2024 bid for the White House tonight in Florida. What experts are saying about the announcement and how it'll play out over the next 2 years.
You're watching KESQ, the Desert's news leader. This is News Channel 3, live at 11.
Hello, I'm John White.
And I'm Karen Devine. A first alert weather alert is in effect as Santa Ana winds are headed our way. First alert chief meteorologist Haley Clausen is tracking your conditions. And Haley, what areas will most likely be affected?
It's certainly going to be the areas surrounding the Coachella Valley that will be impacted the most. I'm talking about our mountains, the San Gorgonio Pass, and even the high desert, including I-10 out towards Desert Center. So Santa Ana winds, even though they're not going to be impacting the Coachella Valley quite as strongly as they will neighboring communities, we are still going to be influenced by them. So as we head through tonight and into tomorrow, that's when those winds are really going to be making themselves known. Now, right now, we're not seeing big numbers out there, but it's becoming a bit more consistent, a bit more breezy. 32-mile-per-hour wind gust right now in Banning, 28-mile-per-hour gust in Whitewater, just 15 miles per hour in Cathedral City. We haven't seen a lot of wind here in the Coachella Valley at this hour, have been seeing the flag down El Paseo move a lot more, and of course, as I want to show it to you, it's nice and still there. That will be blowing more as we head into tomorrow because those winds becoming more widespread across the deserts as well as the mountains. Also, those winds are really going to be drying things out, dropping our dew point temperatures down and even bringing our relative humidity values down into the single digits. We'll discuss more about the impacts from these Santa Ana winds coming up in my first alert forecast.
Thank you, Haley. And you can get constant weather information anytime with our First Alert Weather app. Download it for free and be prepared before impactful weather hits. Just search KESQ First Alert in the Apple Store or Google Play.
Former President Trump is running for president again, announcing his bid for the White House in 2024. Bradley Blackburn has more on the event held tonight at Mar-a-Lago in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Fellow citizens, America's comeback starts right now.
Former President Trump made official what he's teased for weeks.
In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Speaking at Mar-a-Lago, Trump said the Biden administration is ruining the country's standing in the world.
Under Biden and the radical Democrats, America has been mocked, derided, and brought to its knees.
Trump is hoping to start his third White House bid on a high note with a Republican victory in the Georgia Senate runoff next month.
Vote for Herschel, and he deserves it.
But after several Trump-backed candidates lost in the midterms, GOP enthusiasm in Washington has diminished.
I'll support the Republican nominee, but I don't know that it will be him.
Former President Trump starts this third campaign with a number of major advantages, a nearly $100 million war chest and a legion of dedicated supporters, many of whom still wrongly believe he won the 2020 election.
As far as I'm concerned, Trump has the right to be the president for at least another 8 years for what's happened to him.
One potential challenger is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Build the wall.
Who in 2018 ran for governor on the MAGA platform, but is now on the receiving end of Trump attacks.
When you're getting things done, yeah, you take incoming fire. That's just the nature of it.
A YouGov poll taken after the midterms shows 41% of Republicans would rather see DeSantis get the GOP nomination, while 39% say Trump.
That was Bradley Blackburn reporting. Only one president has succeeded in what former President Trump is now trying to do. Grover Cleveland, the only president to have served 2 non-consecutive terms in the nation's history. The announcement will play a role in some of the former president's legal challenges, with the Republican National Committee now no longer paying his legal bills.
Your vote 2022 and still no concession in the 41st Congressional District. The Republican incumbent Ken Calvert has already declared victory, doing that last night. And his lead grew in the latest results released tonight. It's now up to about 6,500 votes over Democrat Will Rollins, who released a statement tonight pointing out that tens of thousands of ballots still need to be counted. In a statement, he goes on to say, quote, "We know major outlets have already called this race, and I will respect the final outcome no matter what. But we also want to respect the voices of those whose votes have not yet been counted. Thanks everyone for bearing with us a little bit longer," end quote. News Channel 3 talked today to supporters of both candidates. Rollins supporters are starting to accept a possible defeat.
Disappointment and hope. I think this young man, Will Rollins, ran one of the best campaigns I've seen. I think he is bright. I think he is intelligent. I think he is caring. And frankly, we're hoping he'll stick around and run against Mr. Calvert in 24.
Well, obviously, our country has been out of balance for the last 2 years, so it gives us hope. And I really think it's all about hope.
And you can find full statements from Calvert and Rollins on our website, KESQ.com.
Roads are back open site after a fire in El Paseo this afternoon in Palm Desert between Lupin Lane and Sage Lane. It took firefighters about an hour and a half to put out the commercial structure fire. 2 businesses were damaged in this 3-alarm fire.
They had fire on the second and first floor of the structure. They ordered additional 3rd alarm fire to the incident. There was fire in the attic and in both attics, the second story and the first story.
There are no reports of injuries, and the cause of the fire is under investigation. Cathedral City and Palm Springs Fire were called in to help with firefighting efforts.
A missile struck Polish territory earlier today, and early reports said it was thought to be a Russian missile. Now Polish leaders want a formal discussion about the attack with NATO. According to the Article 4 of the Military Alliance's founding treaty, members can bring any issue of concern relating to security for discussion. This will allow for more time to determine what steps, if any, need to be taken. President Biden addressed the nation today.
There is preliminary information that contests that. I don't want to say that till we completely investigate, but it is. It's unlikely in the minds of the trajectory that it was fired from Russia.
The United States and its NATO allies are investigating. If it's found to be a Russian missile, it could eventually trigger NATO's collective defense known as Article 5, which means an attack on one Western ally would be deemed an attack on all.
A national travel guide is steering visitors away from Lake Tahoe.
Next on News Channel 3, why they say crowds, high costs, and the drought are just 3 reasons to stay away.
And the world hitting a new milestone today, 8 billion people. Find out when we're expected to hit the 9 billion mark. You're watching the Desert's News Leader.
Lake Tahoe has landed on a list of places people should avoid traveling to. That's according to a national travel guide. Shanti Passmore explains why Tahoe may not be its usual dream destination this winter.
This winter wonderland attracts people near and far.
It's really nice out here.
Even on a Monday, at Tahoe Bike and Ski, it's seen busier days during the height of COVID.
It was absolutely nuts here.
These days, it says business is back to normal, although it's been hit and miss amid high gas prices and inflation. Still, some tourists say it's worth the trip.
Like a little getaway from business and working every day. This is really fun for us.
It's easy to see why for first-time and long-time visitors. The pristine lake, the spectacular mountain views, this is what makes Lake Tahoe a destination. But that same allure is raising concerns.
You'll have locals that don't want any tourism, right? But how do you live in a tourist town without that income? It's impossible.
Lake Tahoe is one of 10 regions landing on Voters' No List 2023. To make the cut, the travel guide looked at natural attraction needing a break from visitors, cultural hotspots plagued with overcrowding and resource depletion, and locations impacted by water crises.
We would never say not come. We want everybody to experience Lake Tahoe, but do it in a way that protects it now and in the future.
The League to Save Lake Tahoe's mission is to keep Tahoe blue. Crawling traffic mixed with crowds give way to pollution and litter. The League tells me the lake's clarity has stabilized in recent years.
But we're not getting it back either.
For Lake Tahoe, R&R might look like fewer cars on the road and tourists taking care to leave no trace.
That was Shanti Passmore reporting.
The California Highway Patrol's annual Chips for Kids toy drive will kick off tomorrow. These containers were dropped off at the Indio CHP office this morning. The kickoff will be at the Walgreens at Monterey and Highway 111 in Palm Desert. The CHP says they're looking for toys for kids of all ages and that their goal is to fill those containers. Stay with News Channel 3 for more details on where you can drop off those toys this holiday season.
Well, the world population reaches 8 billion.
Next on News Channel 3, find out how long it might take to hit the next major milestone.
Because of winds strengthening, a wind-blown dust advisory is in place through tomorrow night for the majority of Riverside County. Coming up after the break, we'll be discussing some of those future wind gusts that we can expect as we head through Wednesday. The news continues after the break. You're watching News Channel 3, the Desert's news leader.
The United Nations says the world's population is now at 8 billion people, with much of the growth coming from developing nations in Africa. As Ian Lee reports, that could mean more global challenges are ahead.
It's not a small world after all. We now share the planet with 8 billion people, according to the United Nations. At a hospital in Bangladesh, Adil Ahmed is holding his newborn for the first time. His joy is mixed with worry. He says as the population grows, the world's resources are not enough. About 333 million people now live in the United States, making it the world's third most populous country. Nigeria is on track to overtake the U.S. in the coming years as its population soars. But the country already lacks basic services like reliable electricity and public transportation.
The growing population in the country is a cause for concern.
Next year, India is set to dethrone China as the world's most populous country. The UN estimates half of future growth will come from just 8 countries, 5 of which are in Africa. The growth rate is slowing down worldwide, and in some countries, like Russia and Japan, their populations are even shrinking. But when it comes to the next generation, climate experts say it's all about each person's impact on the planet. For instance, Kenya has a population of 55 million people, about 95 times more than Wyoming. But Wyoming emits nearly 4 times more carbon dioxide.
That was Ian Lee reporting. It only took 12 years for the population to go from 7 to 8 billion, but the UN estimates that the world won't hit 9 billion until the late 2030s.
Republicans in Congress are voting on who they want to lead their caucuses in the House and Senate. Kevin McCarthy of California was able to win support among Republicans to be Speaker of the House in the next session of Congress, with Republicans right now on the brink of being projected to take control of the House. Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona was unsuccessful in his attempt to challenge McCarthy. Senate Republicans are set to hold their leadership vote tomorrow. Some GOP senators are pushing for that vote to be delayed until after the Senate runoff election in Georgia.
If we don't delay the election, I think it is very likely that we will see someone run against Mitch McConnell.
House Democrats are scheduled to hold their leadership vote at the end of the month, giving Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi some time to decide if she wants to be their leader again. Senate Democrats are set to vote December 1st, but may delay that vote until after the December 6th Senate runoff election in Georgia.
Our first weather alert in place because of Santa Ana winds that are expected to continue strengthening as we head overnight, and the main event being tomorrow, Wednesday. The main impacts that we're also going to be tracking relate to travel in and out of the Coachella Valley. So through the San Gorgonio Pass, Highway 62, and even on the 10 out towards Desert Center, where higher profile vehicles like those bigger trailers certainly have had issues in the past. So winds will be a factor as we head through our Wednesday. We do have weather alerts in place. The strongest winds are going to be felt to our west. This high wind warning that you see in yellow includes the San Gorgonio Pass local mountains, as well as the Inland Empire. Gusts here could reach 60 miles per hour, even a little bit stronger closer to the Cajon Pass. Now, just to our east, there's a wind advisory for Joshua Tree National Park, and this extends out towards Desert Center. So while the valley floor itself is not under a weather alert because we aren't going to be feeling our gusts as strong, we're still going to be noticing a difference. And again, travel in and out of the Coachella Valley is going to be a factor. So as we've made our way through this evening, we've begun to feel a little bit more of a breeze develop. We're still not seeing big numbers out there, but certainly more of an established offshore flow. So our winds out of the northeast. That's only continuing as we head into tomorrow. And I mean, look at this. We're already drying out. Even though those winds aren't that strong right now, 14% relative humidity in Palm Springs, 18-degree dew point right now in Thousand Palms. As we head into tomorrow afternoon, we'll be seeing these numbers drop down into the single digits. We are really drying things out, and those dry conditions are going to stay with us even as we head through the rest of this week. It's this trough of low pressure right here as it's working its way inland that our winds have shifted to take on that offshore flow. Really going to be feeling the strongest winds in its wake tomorrow, and then winds will be relaxing just in time for Thursday. So overall, this is a short-lived event, but still, it's going to be a wind event regardless. So again, as we head through tomorrow morning, we'll begin to notice those winds much stronger than what they currently are, and then just becoming more widespread as we head throughout the day. So even though, again, our gusts won't be as strong as those to the west, we're going to be noting more breezy to gusty conditions here on the valley floor. And a big heads up if you do have to commute, especially through the San Gorgonio Pass, where those gusts will be exceeding 50 miles per hour through Beaumont, through Banning. We've seen it many times in the past. Don't be caught off guard because of those gusty conditions. Again, thankfully, those winds will be subsiding as we head through Wednesday night and into Thursday. And our First Alert Comfort Air 70 forecast keeps our temperatures very mild in the low and mid 70s as we head through the rest of this week and even get ready for this upcoming weekend.
Okay. Well, thank you, Haley.
I think we're well prepared.
It's a nice weekend. We love that. Anxiety is the most common mental health concern globally.
Next on News Channel 3, we'll hear from experts on the different ways to treat anxiety without the use of medication or therapy. You're watching the Desert's News Leader.
This is Ann.
Anxiety is the most common mental health concern facing Americans, with millions of people suffering. Medications and therapy can help, but those options might not be right for everyone. Mandy Gaither has more on new research that now suggests there may be another option that may be equally effective.
Concerns over health, money, family problems can cause occasional worry, but for those who suffer from anxiety disorders, the concerns may not go away and may worsen in time.
It has a profound effect on people's lives.
Anxiety can lead to symptoms like constant worry, trouble sleeping or concentrating, irritability, and more. Psychotherapy and medication like Lexapro to treat depression and anxiety can help.
It's a great drug. I prescribe it all the time, but it could be that not everyone's interested in taking a medication.
That's why Dr. Elizabeth Hoagie wanted to study another option for anxiety treatment, mindfulness meditation. The researcher studied more than 275 adults with untreated anxiety disorders. Half the patients received a generic form of Lexapro. The other half were assigned an 8-week course in mindfulness stress reduction.
And found that they were roughly equivalent in effect, reducing anxiety symptoms by about 30%.
Hoagie says meditation could potentially be prescribed instead of medication for some patients, but says it does take time to make it effective.
Participants were enrolled in a class for 2.5 hours a week, and they also had homework assignments nearly every day for about 40 minutes.
Hoagie says anyone interested should talk to a primary care provider about their options.
That was Mandy Gaither reporting, and the study experts said some patients responded better to medication while others did better with meditation. Dr. Hoagie wants to further the research to find out why certain therapies and treatments might work better for some people.
Coming up in sports on News Channel 3, the Firebirds hold a special event. Hear from one of the star players in attendance. Plus, our Student Athlete of the Week is a top tennis player for Xavier Prep. Blake has it all in just a bit. You're watching the Desert's News Leader.
This is the best local sports show with sports director Blake Arthur.
Hey, we're skating hard, going tape to tape and getting pucks on net to start sports. We have continuing coverage of the Coachella Valley Firebirds, who are very close to making their desert debut, set for Sunday, December 18th at Acrisure Arena. As we know, the team is now in town officially, getting settled in using the practice rink. Earlier tonight, the team actually held a nice event at the Hyatt Regency Resort and Spa in Indian Wells. What a venue that is. Season ticket holders were on hand, as well as sponsors and members of the Firebirds organization ahead of their inaugural season. Obviously, there's a buzz and excitement around this team in their first ever year, and rightfully so.
It's been nothing short of awesome. You know, we've had a great time in the week that we've been here so far, and you know, there's a lot of excitement to be had, and you know, a lot of good things happening, and we can't wait to get going come December 18th.
Podorowski, right circle, shoots, he scores! Andrew Podorowski, overtime winner, turn the record over. We'll see you on the flip side.
I got to give all of the players credit. I thought they were going to kill us for 22 games on the road, but they actually have come together as a group. They played really well. It's great to have the team in first place in the division. They got to get into the locker room last night or yesterday for the first time. They got to see the new sheet of ice at the training center. Now we're going to put the main sheet of ice down in the big arena in 2 weeks. So I think they're just over the moon. This is the best facility ever built in the American Hockey League, and I think the players have been very patient, knowing we got to get through these 22 games to get back home in December.
Excitement is real. Leiweke also said that at the event that Acrisure Arena is also going to host the NBA, NHL, and NCAA basketball in some capacity starting next fall. So looking forward to that. We'll have more on that as it develops, and we'll also have more on the Firebirds tomorrow with Media Day in the morning, so stay with us for that. High school sports now in our Student Athlete of the Week segment. Xavier Prep girls tennis had a remarkable run that just ended in the playoffs, led in part by Lauren Toman. Here's Bailey Arredondo now with the full story.
At Xavier Prep, academics are the focus, but the athletic program certainly put on a show. The girls tennis program is headlined by Lauren Toman, an all-around athlete that has a big role for the Saints.
So we only have 3 seniors, and she's been I think the go-to captain and leader for us. Also on the court with her play, very consistent.
Started integrating myself with the older girls, and that kind of taught me how to be an example for the younger girls, how I was treated.
Toman says she loves suiting up the black and gold.
I love playing doubles, so the thing that's kept me hooked on playing doubles is the volleys. I just love playing aggressively up at the net.
She's just so cool, calm. There's no ups and downs, no roller coaster, which I think is critical in leadership.
I've built a lot of my social life on campus with the teams that I've been on.
She is a Xavier Saint. She is with and for others at all times.
Lauren has led the Saints to its best season in program history while maintaining over a 4.0 GPA. Just another superb example of the incredible student athletes we have here in our desert. Reporting at Xavier Prep, Bailey Arredondo, News Channel 3.
Bailey, thank you so much. Before we go, also want to mention some pro sports news in the NFL. LA Rams superstar receiver Cooper Kupp having ankle surgery. He is headed to the IR. And in baseball, the Angels, my Angels, signed former Dodgers pitcher Tyler Anderson to a 3-year deal worth $39 million. So a lot happening in sports, and it was a lot of fun to be out there at the Firebirds event. A lot of fans and sponsors, and got to talk to Mr. Leiweke and a couple of the players. So we'll have much more tomorrow at Media Day in the morning. Bailey Arredondo will be there for that. Guys?
Just weeks away now.
Wow.
I know. Cannot wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Coming fast.
Thank you, Blake. And Haley, those winds are going to be coming pretty quickly, too.
That's right. They're really beginning to shape up at this hour, especially as we head past the midnight hour. They'll continue to strengthen. It's really Wednesday morning when they're looking to be at their peak. Strongest winds will stay to our west. Main concern is going to be travel in and out of the Coachella Valley.
Thank you, Haley.
Thank you for making News Channel 3 your choice for news.
News Channel 3 in the morning comes away tomorrow at 5 a.m. You can always get breaking news online at KESQ.com.
News Channel 3 is now available on any of these streaming services and on KESQ.com.